Hello, all you studious people working hard to achieve the band score that you require in IELTS. Today, our short video is the start of a series of videos addressing the way to achieve success in the reading section in IELTS. We are going to be discussing what you need to do to be successful, how to do it, and how to practice. I am preparing these videos in bite-sized chunks, and the reason is that you can practice them where and when you have time. In this video, we're going to be discussing one of the techniques that is essential right at the start, just to get you conversant with what you need to do, and that subject is skimming. So if you want to know more about skimming, Let me talk briefly on the actual IELTS reading test. You are going to be reading 3 passages of text. You also are required to answer 40 questions. As you move from passage 1 through 2 to 3, everything gets a little bit more difficult and adds a little bit more to the pressure. So, time given for this test is 1 hour. So 1 hour divided by 3 passages. That means 20 minutes each, doesn't it? Or does it? No, it doesn't actually, because let me explain. As I said, you're moving from passage 1 to passage 3 is getting more difficult. So passage 3 is going to take slightly more time than the other 2. Passage 2 is going to take a little bit more than passage 1. So I suggest something along the lines of breaking that 1 hour down to maybe 17 minutes for passage 1, maybe an extra minute for passage 2. But that then gives you 25 minutes to handle the most difficult passage, which is number 3. Now, just to add a little bit more problem to the equation is that during that 1 hour also, while you're making all these answers, writing all these answers out on your sheets, at the end of the exercise, they've all got to be transferred onto the proper answer sheet. And that the time to do that is included in the 1 hour. So many students have found that they got to the 1 hour and they forgot all about the transferring the questions to the answer sheet. Disaster, absolute disaster. So obviously time management is going to come into play. You know, time with pressure equals stress, but good time management reduces stress and helps with the time. And the other pertinent aspect that reduces the stress is skimming. Number 1, skimming. So let's go back and talk about skimming. Skimming. When we first look at a passage of text in the IELTS reading, we want to establish what the passage is all about and what information it is containing in there. Obviously, time is of the essence, and we want to absorb this information as quickly as possible. Quick analysis of titles and subtitles, that's an important way of gleaning information as well. Obviously, there is not enough time to read the whole passage in detail, but with effective skimming, within a very short time, you should have an understanding of the content and a good idea of really what you want to know. If you come across complex text that you do not fully understand, hey, don't dwell on it. Trying to get the meaning, ignore it. Move on, that clock is ticking. The more you practice skimming, the more effective you will become. Then you will know the areas you need to use scanning to identify where the answer may be. And we're going to talk about scanning in the next video. You know, some students, they prefer to read the questions before they skim the passage, and I think that's my preference also. But there are those who do the skimming before they look at the questions. So whether you like to put the cart behind the horse or you want to put the cart in front of the horse. It's really up to you. There are sound arguments for both aspects. Okay, now I'm going to show you a short passage of text, and I'm going to give you about 90 seconds to try and see if you can skim that text to see what it contains and what it's really about. And then afterwards, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions on it to see if you do understand it. Let's try it. Okay, that was a pretty simplified exercise. What did you get from it? Do you understand? Did you get what the main purpose of the text was, what it was saying? And did you manage to identify the benefits that were available also? Well, let's have a quick look at it again together. Okay, let's take a closer look at this piece of text. As you see, I highlighted the first paragraph and the last paragraph, which is one of the recommended things to do, because quite often those two paragraphs give you a lot of information. In fact, nearly always they give you a lot of information. So concentrate, read those a little bit closer, the first and last paragraphs. Also look very closely at any titles or subtitles, because they give you a lot of information. In this particular instance, the only title had I removed it, so you would have to work out what it was talking about. Then the three center paragraphs here, I would have expected you just to try to pick up skim them very, very quickly, just to see what they were talking about. For instance, the second one is talking about heart and blood vessels. The third one is chronic conditions like diabetes, etc. And the fourth one is the effects on mental health. So that was very easy to do. You should be able to eat that information, get it out of there very, very quickly in a simple exercise like this. We're going to be doing more of these exercises, and they're going to get more complex. But I just want to get you thinking along the right lines, and you'll see what we're doing. Okay, what I'm going to do in a moment is I'm going to give you an exercise, and I'm not going to say anything. And I just want you to look at it, make your own notes, what you think it is, and we'll see how you get on. Well, there you go, folks. That was 1 minute. How much information did you actually glean from that 1 minute? And did you separate the first and the last paragraphs? Did you concentrate a bit harder on them than the intermediate paragraphs? I hope so. Okay, the actual subject of that exercise was the impact of technology on society. So how technology was affecting different areas of society. I hope you got that. Okay, today's exercise, I put it together as we've been going along. I want to try and work this out so we become more effective. And I'm going to be bringing out more skimming exercises where we're looking at more complex aspects and maybe bringing in other areas that we've got to look at a bit more in detail. So we'll get there and we'll get these short exercises going, good regular exercise to bring you along and help you skimming. And the next subject, probably tomorrow, will be scanning. So thank you for watching. Please, there's a lot of work going into developing these. If you don't mind, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and give it a like and ring the bell. It would help me a lot. Okay, take care. Bye for now.